Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 207th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net and those sexy legends over at Audio Technica. I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan 8bit. And joining me today, the Chad Musker to my Bucky Lasek. We are talking about a lady that can be found at Miss Ali Hart. My podcast, Ride or Die. How you doing today, Miss Ali Hart?
You picked my character. Nice work.
Yes. I knew I had like a 1 in 10 or 1 in 12. I can't remember the original roster, but I took a punt and stuck the landing.
Nailed it right on the head.
Hell yeah, I did.
How are you doing, Superman?
I'm doing fantastic. I've got Tony Hawk Pro Skater demo warehouse level running through my veins after getting on that action this week, and I see you have too.
Yeah.
Should we just jump right into that and talk about our feelings on Tony Hawk, and is the excitement level still there?
Let's dump on it. I can't believe like that nostalgic feeling that like pumped in my chest as soon as like just rolling down that hill. I had the unfortunate thing where I originally played Tony Hawk on Nintendo 64.
Mm-hmm.
So with that nice chunky controller. So I was playing on PlayStation. I couldn't figure it out.
Compute?
It does not compute. Like I like sat there for ages just like trying to figure out the controls and constantly like falling over and breaking bones and whatnot. But I finally got the rhythm of it and was able to, get back to where I was with lining up moves and everything. Kind of sad that there weren't videotapes anywhere. I felt like that was really missing.
Yeah, no tapes, no skate letters, none of that. It's just Hawk and his board in the warehouse with a sweet soundtrack thumping in the back.
Yeah, I really liked the intro video as well. They had intro videos, right, in the originals?
I believe so. It felt familiar when I watched it in the demo.
Yeah, but it was really good seeing it, launching up the demo and just seeing that little sequence at the start and just like going through the menus and then going through all these Tony Hawk's clothes and changing that up and just so many wonderful memories. And it's like it's very promising. The only thing, and I'm gonna pitch this to you, see if you felt the same way. Did you feel like that like there was maybe a bit of like disconnect, like it was either faster or slower? Like I was having a lot of issues with like the timing of moves lining up.
Oh yeah, it took me probably five or so runs till I started feeling a little bit comfortable and getting into some rhythm, like knowing which angle you're going to land at when you let go of a certain grab trick or something, to know which way you're going to be facing so you don't eat it in a half pipe or something like that. And it felt like some of the button inputs were a little off at times, but I don't know if that's just because I haven't played a skate game in forever. And it's so fast, like especially when you're doing certain kick tricks or grab tricks, and then you're grinding something, then you're wall riding into a manual, into a grind. Like you're just like mashing all these buttons really fast. Like, where's my muscle memory? Come back. And then you end up chaining like, I think I chained like 100,000 points in one trick, and that was probably the best I did, where I was like grinding stuff, kick flip into a grind, into a manual, into a grind, into the half pipe, into this, into that. And yeah, it's probably the best thing I did during my time. I think I played for probably an hour and a half to 2 hours, I'd say.
That's pretty fair, especially with having, what we were given. But, like, I think it was the right amount. Like, I honestly, thought, I'm like, what? Just one stage, one person? But, no, it was good. It was a good taste test of what to expect. But, yeah, I also had a lot of issues with landing. Like, a lot of like the spinning and landing, or like kind of like coming off a ramp and landing. And I don't know what my neighbors think of me, but they just probably heard like, fuck off, I was straight, and have no idea what I was doing in my apartment.
That poor girl needs Jesus.
So But it was a good experience, and I can't wait till the full game comes out.
Yeah, like a lot of my memories to certain tricks about which way you need to be facing when you are landing is gone. Like, and there's a few tricks like I think the airwalk's one of my favorite ones to watch, but I could just not line up the way I'm meant to be facing in a half pipe when I'm sort of descending back down from being in the skies. But yeah, it was really cool. Didn't land a 900. I tried to do the 900 a fair few times and just couldn't get the altitude to get those rotations in. Yeah. Did his grind a couple of times, and his I think it was a aerial McTwist or something, I think was his other special move. God, so I popped that a couple of times, but it felt like comfort food, this game. Like, it felt like I was teleported back to the PlayStation and I was just young, prepubescent Brendan again, skating my heart out. But it was weird for me too, because I was playing this on Xbox, so I had a bit of a different thing with the controller structure in my hand as well. And I was playing on the Elite controller at first, and because I've got toggles and like I've got paddles on the back that remap the face buttons, I was using that a bit as well, which was just weirding me out even more. But I got used to it, and it was kind of easier to be able to just ollie straight into a kick trick or a grab trick instead of sort of jumping from, thumb button across a few face buttons. So it was sort of quicker in that regard, but it just took a little bit of time to reconfigure my thought process.
Okay. I'm gonna have
the soundtrack was thumping.
Yeah. It wasn't long till I figured out how to do the switch to the next track, just so Goldfinger could just play on repeat.
Yeah, but I can't wait. And little things like, as you mentioned right off the jump there, like the character customization. I forgot about things where you could get different costumes for them and customize I remember you'd be able to customize the skate deck, the bearings, the wheels, all that kind of stuff. And I can't wait to get back into that.
Yeah, and plus we're going to have all these like new characters as well, like having the previous ones in there, but then also these new characters as well. So it's going to be good. It's going to have that, well, hopefully it's going to have that right level of like, nostalgia, but also like that freshness as well. So it doesn't get too stale. I'm not familiar with Park Builder. Was Park Builder in the previous games?
Yeah, Park Builder, I think it came in number 3. I don't think it was in number 2. But you can have some mad fun with that. I remember just making like the stupidest level sometimes where it was almost just like a spiral rail. Like it was just one big sort of spiral rail and you sort of
keep going
right
around.
away as if you're going down a drain.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do so many cool things. So I'm looking forward to building parks. I'm wondering if you're going to get like a custom character you can make of yourself, or if you're going to be able to sort of import maybe designs for your skateboards.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think could be pretty cool. But then maybe it comes down to licensing, so maybe they'll avoid that. But I can't wait. Like, it comes out in 2 weeks. I think it releases in full in 2 weeks. I think it's around the 3rd of September, I think.
Yeah, it was early September, so... And, I mean, the fact that they were already, like, pushing it with the demo and everything, so...
Yeah, and shout out to the data miners. They've confirmed that Officer Dick is back, and Jack Black is going to be having his likeness embedded into portray Officer Dick. So, mate, we can't get enough of Jack Black in the video game space at the moment.
I like that they're like actually making his likeness in there. Like, how awesome would it be to be immortalized in such a franchise? Like.
I've talked about it a few times. Like that's one of my bucket list sort of. Ultimate ambition things that I'd like to achieve is, even if the game is kind of crappy, I just want to have myself immortalized in a game in some fashion. So one day. I'm going to
divert the conversation a little bit here, just because you've said this, like, having like a bucket list of like reaching something. This week, something on Twitter went viral where it was like, show a GIF, like type in your name and choose a GIF that shows like how you feel right now. And I just got so like, not frustrated, but kind of, I guess, semi-jealous of like how many people were able to find a GIF of themselves.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I want to reach that level. I wanted to go into Giphy and type my name and find myself.
You could do it. It just takes some time. You could get on Giphy and upload one to yourself, but that's some next level vanity right there, I guess, when you're uploading GIFs of yourself to use later to post about yourself.
Yeah, because like there's always like, people have like levels of like what kind of, if they ever got famous, like what would be the peak. And like I don't want like anything that a normal person wants. The two things have probably just, well, I guess the GIF thing, but always like an action figure.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Like, have an action figure of yourself. Like, I guess that also sounds really, really vain, but it's just like, I guess growing up, having like action figures and toys like that, and then just, you know, seeing yourself immortalized in a toy, that just sounds really cool.
Exactly. You know what? Who doesn't love playing with himself? So, like, It just makes sense. And yeah, so action figures and GIFs. I think the GIF one is a lot more obtainable. Like, I know you can commission people to make action figures. I don't know the costs. Maybe we could look into that. Maybe we could look into that for shits and giggles and get some one-off action figures.
Bitch face not included.
Hell yeah. No, you could have interchangeable faces.
Yeah, I'd need them.
Swappable heads. Hell yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. And another game you've been playing that I'm excited to talk about with you. You're back on the Apex Legends train just in time for Season 6.
Sorry, everyone. Yeah, I jumped on Apex too. As I was explaining to you during the week in our messages, like, I don't know if it's because of all my successes with Fall Guys. Like, I've had this like false like sense of like ability of like, you know what? Like, this is kind of like a battle royale, and I'm winning. Maybe I can actually get back to shooters. I don't know.
Maybe I'm just an elite gamer now.
Maybe I'm just perfect. So, and I'm like, I thought about all the battle royals that were out there, and I decided that Apex might be the more, I don't know, softer one to get into. I don't know what I mean by softer. More appealing? I don't know.
It's certainly more appealing IMO, but soft. Yeah, maybe not so much softness.
Like, because with Warzone, I don't know, there's this like level in Warzone where I kind of think it's too serious. I don't know, like, at least with like Apex, there's like, it's, I don't know, like, I don't want to say it's not serious because there's a lot of talented people that play, but I just want to say that, like, I guess it's more on the level, if I was to say on the spectrum, with like Overwatch, with like,
yeah, I think it's lighter in tone, like the fact that the characters are talking and cracking jokes, and you can throw your little quips out there, and it's a little bit brighter and a little, I get what you mean, like aesthetically it's less serious and less drab than a Call of Duty game. Like, there is some ridiculously good players in it, don't get me wrong, and I came up against a lot of them this week playing as well, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, well, so that's why it won, like, out of my choice, you know, options. And then I reached out to Twitter, and thank you to everyone that kind of like gave me some advice in regards to like getting back in. I didn't realize how long it had been since I played. I think apparently, based on my information, it was early last year.
Oh, damn. Damn, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, so I kind of like, I jumped in. Everything was new. There was all these characters that I didn't know about. The map was completely different. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but the first game that I jumped into, we won.
It's clear that those Battle Royale abilities from Fall Guys have transcended.
So I'm going pro. I'm leaving 8-bit. I only got one kill. I'm not gonna like gloat about a win when I only got one kill.
Was it the last kill? Was it the final kill?
No, it was the first kill.
I had 2 quick rounds before I went to bed last night. First round got absolutely schooled, like we dropped and were just in the shit straight away. But the last round we played, or the second and final game we played, got the win, and I was the I stole, like, only kill of the game I got, and it was the last kill. And you feel really great doing that. Like, I felt dirty because the other 2 dudes on my team were pretty good, but I took the final kill. I took the kill that mattered, so they can't take that from me.
It's this like level of awkwardness where like I load into the game and it's like, should I warn these people that I'm an absolute potato? Like, this is like new, like I have no idea where we're going. The map is new to me. I know it says that I'm a level 10, but that's a level 10 from a long time ago. So, but I'm like, screw it. Let's get into this. Let's like play. And for the most part, I don't think anyone got too frustrated. I had one person drop out on our trio.
It sucks when that happens.
Yeah, but like for me and the other person, we still got pretty far. So, so far really positive. I need to learn the like meta with guns. I need to know what works well for me. What's the better guns? Is Mozambique still shit? Because I got that a lot.
Yeah, Mozambique is the trash weapon. I do not muck around with that at all. Like, if I pick it up right at the start of a game, I know that if I'm in a firefight, I'm losing, because for some reason I can't hit the side of a barn with this gun. Like, it's a shotgun. It's meant to, scatter pellets and everything like that, but I cannot aim that thing for the life of me for some reason. But it's tough because you read the meta as far as what they rank the game's guns as, like in tiers and the damage and whatever else. And some of the guns that they rank at the top, they might be the best, but they just don't work that way for me. So I've sort of really narrowed. Like, I'm a LMG guy. Like, I love my Spitfire, the Devotion's back, and then the Prowler. If you can get a Prowler with a select fire on it, awesome. The R301, the R99, and then the Flatline are sort of my go-tos. I don't muck around with the pistols, don't muck around with the wingmans. The Mastiff shotgun's pretty beasty as well if you can rock one of them, but that's about it.
See, because it's obviously a game or a community would have their tier of like what is the best gun and everything, but then there's just how you play. Like, I'm anti-sniper. I can't snipe. I hate the idea of sniping. I hate being away from combat, but in the same sense, I also don't like really being in it, so then I don't like shotguns. Because I just find shotguns are just not, like, they don't handle well with me.
Yeah, the Mastiff seems like it's the god tier shotgun, and it does okay. But I'm with you, like, not that great with the sniper. I don't mind being in the thick of it, but I get scared when I'm in the thick of it by myself. That's the part. Like, I'll get a bit too gung-ho sometimes where we'll be breaking in on another enemy squad, and I'll charge in thinking the other guys are with me, and then they're not there, and then I'm in the middle of it against 2 or 3 other people, and then I'm screwed for the most part. And so I gotta know when to sort of take a step back and wait for the squad, or go in with some cohesion, you know?
Yeah. And that goes to also back with the guns, like me not being with my squad, because I'm imagining this like from someone else's perspective, where I'm like picking up a gun, standing there for a while, like I'm trying to like figure out, I'm like, is this the right gun for me? Like, what? And then the next, I drop it, and I'm like, no, this isn't the right gun. Drop it again, like constantly like switching out guns and everything. Like, people are probably like, just fucking pick a gun.
Yeah, so I think as long as you've got some type of automatic gun, and then your secondary, I try and do both automatics because you don't have to worry so much about burst fire and everything. But as long as you've got something that can chew a lot of bullets out really quick as your primary, you're good to go. Yeah.
It's a learning process. It's really hard to like kind of get back into it with your training wheels and figuring it all out, especially when everyone else is there just, playing to win and just going hard. So I feel bad, but then I'm also just like, you know what? At least I can mute my team.
Oh yeah, the amount of young children that get on that game and then they're on the comms, they're like, "Hey, I'm going here. Hey, I'm grabbing that gun. Oi, come pick me up." It's like you dropped 15 kilometers away from us. You got shot straight off the bat, and then you're pinging for a revive, and you're like, "Mate, I'm 7 hours away on foot. Like, I'm not going to get to you." It's like, bloody kids, stay in school. And if it's of a night time, go to bed. Stay off my console. But yeah, so you've been playing a lot of Bangalore. I think you've been playing Bangalore.
I feel like Bangalore is like the best kind of like entry. There's a lot of elements to it that just makes it like easy to kind of get into the game. I don't think I've really experimented with anyone. I've been told Pathfinder is nerfed. Like, I don't know really what that meant, but like, I've never really played Pathfinder anyway, so I kind of wanted to play Bloodhound, but
Bloodhound's really, like, they've really buffed Bloodhound up in the game. Like, their sort of trigger ability where you can sort of just like scan an area to see if there's enemies around and stuff like that is so goddamn handy when you're going into areas with buildings and what have you. And it's, if you've got a Bloodhound in your team, it's always pretty good because they got a lot of utility.
Yeah, I noticed that pretty much a good majority of the teams that I dropped with, there was a Bloodhound. So I'll maybe watch a few videos or something on the best way to play. So, but Bangalore, she's good for now. I'm happy with her.
Yeah, I'm still sort of maining Lifeline. I like the combat medic passive she's got now, where if one of your squad mates is down, to revive them, you can just press the button and the shield pops up, and your combat bot does the revive for you, so you can keep shooting. So it saves you 5 seconds of a revive, which is really handy. And I dabbled with Rampart, the new character that came in with season 6. She's a very quirky character. She's like English, Indian of origin, but like with the English accent. And she has some really good zingers. She says mate a lot, so it makes me sort of giggle, and she's got a lot of wit. And her sort of ability, she's got, her passive is awesome. You get more ammunition for LMG. So if you're running Spitfires and Devotions, without even having the extended mags, you're getting additional bullets in there, which is great. And then she's got this tactical cover ability, which is really cool. And then her ultimate is where you deploy this minigun, which can just rain hell on a battlefield. So she's really cool to play with. I'm not that good with her. I haven't sort of worked out the best times to use that ultimate or whatnot, but she was good fun. I thought I'd just jump in and give it a go. But yeah, I'm really loving it. Really loving Apex. And as you said, it's just an easier battle royale to get into because... yeah, it's a serious game, but the aesthetic and the characters sort of lighten a bit of that tension and that seriousness, I think.
Yeah, and I actually don't know if the gun selection is. It feels like it's less than like any of the other ones, so I don't really have to learn too much. But then again, like I've probably just missed a lot of guns that I didn't get to pick up, like didn't have the opportunity to pick up or access. So we'll see. Yeah,
I'll jump on and I'll play a few games with you on the PC. I know cross-platform's coming soon, and I can't wait for that. But
I was going to
until
ask,
then, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's still slated for, I'm assuming, September, October. So we don't have too far to wait. But yeah, I'll jump across and play some Master Race and see if you can carry me to a victory.
Oh God, no.
And the last game that I jumped into this week is the 2020 reboot of the Battletoads from Battletoads Arcade way back in 1994. So jumped in, published by Xbox Game Studios, done with Rare and Delilah Studios. Handled this one, and this is pretty damn quirky. Like, it's still that side-scrolling beat-em-up, 3-player cooperative mode where you play as Rash, Pimples, and Zitz. I could have sworn when I was a kid his name was just Zit. I didn't think it was Zitz with another Z on the end.
I thought it was... Oh, maybe... Now that you're saying it with the Z on the end, maybe it was. But Zit sounds familiar to me, but... Yeah. Yeah.
But it feels like this was a game made by Nickelodeon in the 90s. Is a good way to describe it. Okay. Like, just the art style... the character models, the comedy, the self-awareness of it as well. Like it's very tongue-in-cheek. It feels like it's something that could be, an offshoot of Rocko's Modern Life or Ren and Stimpy or something like that. And that's not a bad thing. The art style, as I said, it's hand-drawn, cartoon style, which is sort of similar to the previous series, but it's a little bit more cartoony than what it was way back when in the 90s. But it's pretty good, and the biggest takeaway, I think, from the OG Battletoads games was how tough it was, and holy shit, the difficulty in this is up there again.
I was going to say.
The turbo bike sections,
Aww.
I thought it dragged on for a little bit, like there's this level, like, in the start of Act 1, where you're doing this turbo bike section, and it goes for ages and ages and ages. But maybe it's just sort of to double down on how tough it was in the OG, because I died a lot. I died a lot in this game. But yeah, it's funny because the game's even aware of itself with the difficulty curve. Like, you die and it'll take you to the loading screen. It's like, all right, just take a second, put the controller down, breathe. You got this. Like,
wow.
So they know that people are expected to die a lot in this game, but... It's really simple. A couple of buttons to do various attacks, like heavy charge attacks. You've got an evade button. You can use your tongue to sort of whip out and grab enemies and pull them in, or you can pull yourself to them, or you can use your tongue to pick up flies in the level to increase your health. It's fairly simple. It's a very big throwback to those OG side scrollers from the 90s era. Really well done. I think the comedy's cool. The voice acting's pretty good. It seems to be reviewing pretty well. Like, on Metacritic, it's 72, which ain't bad. Like, it's not a world beater, but it's positive. It's a plus. And I'm really digging it. I think the game would be a lot better playing with two friends locally, though. Playing as just one Battletoad by yourself and seeing at the top of the screen, press start to join or whatever. And you're like, man, it would be so much easier with two other squad mates, because there is a lot of enemies that jump on a screen at any one time, and it can get very overwhelming.
Yeah, I saw that because I believe I guess based on launch, they released like a little interview video kind of thing with Major Nelson, I think it was. So he was like interviewing them, and then they mentioned that you can do couch co-op, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like, sometimes I feel like they kind of miss, like, a lot of games miss the opportunity of doing like local couch co-op. And it's like a dying thing. I get it because now that you have online, a lot of people are used to just online multiplayer. But I mean, we can't get rid of the local co-op.
100%. So yeah, if anyone's picked this up, it's obviously available on Xbox Game Pass for $0 additional. So get on that. Get your friends over and play a bit of Battletoads. It's really fun, but yeah, I think you'll get a lot more out of it playing with two people. Like I played for about, I reckon 3 hours. Okay. And then I sort of put it down because I was getting punished in a few of those parts. I'm like, I need to take a break. So then I finished with a couple of games of Apex last night. But yeah, really good. Included in the Game Pass bundle if you've got it, so you don't have to pony up any additional cash. But a good little nostalgia itch scratcher, that's for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of nostalgia, did you see that there was like a Samurai Jack game?
I saw this, yeah.
Yeah. And it actually doesn't look bad. Like, I guess when you're, creating like a already pretty stylized animation into a game, it usually can, you assume translate pretty well. And I was just watching gameplay just before we loaded up here, and it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty polished. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that.
It is the year of the samurai, year of the ninja, all that stuff.
Fucking tell me about it.
Can't escape it. It's the new zombie.
It's new zombies.
All right, so a quick bit of housekeeping before we jump into some news. Obviously, 8bitnation.net, shop 8bit.net, 8bit.net, youtube.com/we're 8bit. They are your central hubs to get all things 8bit. You can track down and see what all the other podcasters and content creators are up to within the 8bit sphere. Episode 8 of the Hungry Game Show is available now via early access over at patreon.com/we are 8bit. And that saw Dane Peavy tackling Celeste, which is a very, very tough platformer that was released at the start of 2018 to much critical acclaim. Give that a listen, see if he ascends to the top of the Hungry Game Show mountain. But yeah, will be available in full this coming week on all podcast hosting platforms under the Hungry Gamers RSS feed. When you're done checking that out, obviously head on over to iTunes or your podcast hosting platform of choice to rate, review, subscribe us and all the other podcasts in the hashtag 8bit collective, because those ratings and reviews help keep the emotional lights out in our hearts. Takes no time, costs you nothing, and means an absolute bucket load to us because it helps us track, helps us stay relevant in them charts. We want to get to the top. We want to stay at the top of the chart mountain. So please rate, review, subscribe us and all the other podcasts you're listening to on the regular, because it means an awful lot. And just a quick heads up as well, we are pivoting the community game night launch. It was intended for this coming Friday, but just due to some scheduling conflicts, we're going to be moving that to the back end of September. Date to be confirmed, but we are looking at around Friday, September the 25th. So keep that in your calendar. We will have some official announcements on that in the next week or so. So keep your eyes and ears peeled to the socials for that. But Friday, September 25th is looking to be the 8-bit game night. So put that in your calendar in pencil, and then you can put it in pen in the next couple of days once we lock it in. But let's get into some news.
This week's news headlines.
And the first little quick hitter, a game that we were both pretty excited about, getting developed and published by Arcane Studios. We're talking about Deathloop, PlayStation 5 exclusive, has been delayed. And it's been delayed from 2020, all the way to Q2 in 2021. So another big scalp has been claimed by COVID in the game development cycle. Big loss. Like, it's not the end of the world, but it sucks because it's yet another next-gen exclusive that people were excited for that now we're not going to get a taste for until next year.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. But we're kind of getting used to it now. It's kind of the norm, and obviously the current climate as well. We're also getting pretty used to it. It's sad because it was definitely one that I was looking forward to. It looked really good, and it looked like it had a very unique potential as well. So, but do what you got to do. Don't stress the team out. Pace yourselves, and just focus on producing the best game that you can.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, I'm still very much looking forward to this game. It was on both our anticipated lists, and it was just a cool concept, cool art style, and the characters look really great. But we just got to wait a little longer now. So we've got to wait 9 months maybe, who knows? But I think it's going to be worth the wait. So keep your cool, internet. Don't be sort of shooting rockets up Arcane's backside because there's delays and poo-pooing their workload. Just let it be, accept it for what it is, and just bide your time patiently and without rage, please. But next little bit of news. More Marvel Avengers characters have been confirmed. And on the back of the ongoing beta this past few weeks, data miner Robo Matters dug up a list from within the beta's executable file and chronicled his discovery in a video that is available on YouTube. Each is named with the prefix in brackets unlock playable character _. So here's the full list of characters mentioned in this part of the code. So this mentions characters that are already available and known, but as well as the unlocks, and it's just in alphabetical order, so I'll rattle them off. We've got Ant-Man, we've got Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Hawkeye, Hulkbuster, which is kind of a bit of a strange one, Iron Man, Kamala, Kate Bishop, Marvel, Mockingbird, Quake, Scarlet Witch, She-Hulk, Thor, Vision, War Machine, Wasp, Black Widow, and Winter Soldier. Obviously, Spider-Man is attached directly to the Sony release of this game only, so Peter Parker does not get referenced on this sort of
let's solve
this
that
data
wound
mine.
again.
But yeah, what do you think of this list? Any way you're going? Oh yeah, I'm keen. I'm excited to play
Bishop.
as X.
I don't know if she was already announced or whatever, but just seeing
she was
her.
not.
No. So Kate Bishop, it always has like a little fun spot to my heart because she's Hawkeye's little protege and then therefore a Hawkeye. So I always loved her sassiness in Matt Faction's version of Hawkeye. So I always love a good sassy character. So having Kate Bishop in the game sounds pretty cool. However, still not going to play it.
At least you're honest.
Sorry, yeah. Still standing
I think,
at the,
I think the biggest thing with this list is you're getting a lot of same character but reskin. Like, and I'm not trying to say that in a negative way, but it's like you've got Hawkeye, then you've got Kate Bishop, so you've got female Hawkeye that are probably going to play pretty similar. You've got Hulk, you've got She-Hulk. I'm assuming they'll play pretty similar. War Machine, Iron Man, pretty similar. Like, I think you're going to get a lot of reskinned characters, for lack there of a better term. Like, I'm not shitting on this list by any means. Like, I love just about everybody on this list, and it was cool to see someone like Quake get a mention. Yeah. Who was one of the, I guess, less famous characters from mainline Marvel, especially from the, like, obviously she doesn't exist in the film universe. She's heavily portrayed in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's one of the lead characters in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if anyone's watched the television shows. Yeah.
I don't watch it, so.
Good show. Good, well worth a watch, but yeah, it's interesting, the listing here. Doctor Strange could be pretty fun. He sort of almost looks like he'd be... him and Scarlet Witch, now I think about it, are probably going to play similar.
Yep.
Two sort of mages almost in the game, but not a bad list there. Pretty extensive, and gets me excited to play this when it releases in the coming months or coming weeks. So yeah, sadly I won't be playing with you because you are out on this game before it's even released.
Yeah, sourpuss. Have you experienced any of the issues reported during the beta? Like a lot of people...
I still haven't played the beta. I'm just I'm waiting for full release. Yeah, like it's this weekend. It's the public beta that everyone can play. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, no, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Gonna get the full experience. I'm just hands off, waiting for launch just to see how it goes. So now I am free of all the negativity and hostility that is getting thrown around on that one. That's for damn sure.
Technically not. You still do a podcast with me. But it's a lot of just a lot of what I'm assuming is just general fixable issues. A lot of people were finding themselves being forced into team groups that they didn't want to be in. There was other things about just general slowness. I think a lot of people were reporting a lot of stuttering and slowness. And the general consensus that I kind of took from it was a lot of people are saying it would be more enjoyable with friends. So
yeah, I think so. 4-player online will be where it's at for sure. If I could jump on with 3 other people I know and we can roll around together and do these missions and what have you, I think that's going to be the full experience as opposed to just 3 rando NPCs with you. I think that's going to be the Avengers experience. So we'll see how we go at launch. See where most people are picking up their copies, because you're going to have to obviously pick a platform. So we'll see.
Yeah. And
I typically lean Xbox, but I feel I'm going to get forced into going PlayStation, just knowing who who in our circle plays and what consoles they've got, and most of them are PlayStation users.
Oh, I thought this was going to be a Spider-Man thing. I was going to say, oh, it worked, Sony. You got one.
I think there's a few amongst our collective that would probably be just doubling down on the Spider-Man situation. I'm not one of them, but is what it is. It is what it is. And something that also is what it is, the internet being angry again. And this time it's probably justified. The anger is focused this week on Oculus's next move. And this article comes via way of Matt Wales at Eurogamer. New Oculus users will need a Facebook account in order to access the VR headsets starting this October. And existing users will have until 2023 to make the mandatory switch if they require, in quotes, full functionality of their device. According to a blog post shared by Oculus earlier this week, anyone using an Oculus device for the first time from October this year will need to log in with a Facebook account. Things are a little different for existing users, however. From October, those that are currently using an Oculus account will have the option to merge it with a Facebook account. Those that remain determined to avoid Facebook and its dubious privacy practices for as far as possible will be able to continue using their device as they do now without merging accounts for 2 years. Come 1st of January 2023, however, Oculus account support will end, limiting the device's functionality for non-migratory users in currently unspecified ways. As for the exact Oculus functionality for users unwilling to merge their accounts, it's still a little unclear. Facebook says it will take steps to allow you to keep using content you have purchased, but that some games and apps may no longer work if they require a Facebook account or if a developer no longer offers support. So the internet is angry this week on this situation, and for once I can understand the masses and the anger here because, yeah, Facebook pushing you down this path forcefully, saying you've got until 2023 to get on the bus. Otherwise, games that you might have bought 4 or 5 years ago, there's no guarantee they're going to work anymore. So suck it up and give us your details via Facebook. Like that's some sketchy business practices.
It really is.
What do you reckon about this?
I mean, you're essentially kind of being blackmailed into signing up to a social network that is notoriously bad with your details. So I don't understand what benefit they get by having your account linked to Facebook. I'm assuming I don't know, maybe it is a privacy thing where maybe if people are doing the dodge, and so they are able to actually cross-reference it or have something to link back to it, because Facebook has been kind of strict in regards to you creating a legitimate account. I know a lot of people have had some issues in regards to their accounts where they've given dodgy names, kind of get locked out or whatever. So I personally would be angry because I try my best not to link my gaming too much into my socials. The worst, I guess, is having to kind of link up your Twitch a bit. So, but yeah, signing up for Facebook, that's a different level.
Yeah, like Facebook are stating that their intention as far as the information that they're going to collect from the use of Oculus and Facebook, they're saying we're going to be providing and improving your experience across Facebook products to promote safety and integrity on our services and to show personalized content, including ads across Facebook products. So all they're going to be doing here is finding out that you checked in at a random restaurant 5 years ago or went to a concert 10 years ago. Then there's going to be an ad for their new burger or their new album pop up, as you go into the Oculus or Facebook marketplace through your headset. It's dodgy and it's
really dodgy. Not
good. It's like an invasion of privacy.
Yeah, it feels I don't know why it does feel invasive. It feels very, very invasive, and it feels like blackmail. Especially if you're a person who has legitimately purchased a product, you've purchased this device, and then they're making it within 2 years, this device is not going to work the way that you paid for it because we are now, stipulating a mandatory sign up. Mm-hmm. That I just don't think it's right.
Zuckerberg just doing Zuckerberg things. Join us or die, really. It's very much the whole you're with us or you're against us mentality. And yeah, just bullying, really. Like, you shouldn't be forced into a situation to log in or set up an account. Like, what about people that, like, the few people out there that probably don't have a Facebook account, like, and they want to play the Oculus? Sorry, you can't, because you need a Facebook account.
That's what I mean.
It's not fair.
Like, it really isn't fair, because I also know that a good majority of people deleted their Facebook because obviously, like, the previous issues that they had and all that notion about your information and everything. And I mean, Facebook's always getting in the shit now, especially when it comes to like information, political party bullshit, and all that other stuff. So, I mean, they're just forcing you to use, a service that you just, if you already weren't a part of it, like, it's just shitty to tell you, well, I'm sorry, you have to be a part of it now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm in the bucket where I've been close to deleting it a few times. Same.
Like especially because Messenger can operate standalone now. Like, Messenger is sort of where I use Facebook first and foremost, because I can, keep chatting to people and whatnot across the country and across the globe. And outside of that, like, I just use it for this newfound addiction with trying to win NFL helmets and sports memorabilia and like my fantasy leagues and stuff. That's all I really use Facebook for. Like, I never post anything as far as status updates. I never really interact with, people in their posts that they're sharing. Like, I don't look at Facebook timelines ever. It's just, there's a new helmet up for grabs. I'm going to try and get that, or let's see what the 8-bit crew's doing today, or let's see what the fantasy football people I'm dealing with are doing today. Like, that's it for me. Like, I could very easily just switch Facebook off and go about my day happily. But now, knowing that my Oculus ain't going to work in a couple of years because of that, it's like, fuck you, Facebook.
That's what I think is the worst part, is you paid for a device. You paid for a device to work. And then for them to say, I'm sorry, your device will no longer work to how you expect it to work, for what you paid for it to work. I wonder if that's going to run into some issues with what's the group in Australia, like Consumer Affairs. Like, you can't be forced to sign up with a social network in order to use a product. Like, the product should work how it should work. I don't know.
I bet there's one point, because the extensive sign up agreements that you go through for any platform or any device, and it's 1,700 pages long, and 99.9% of people don't read any of that. Like, I'll typically just scroll right to the bottom and accept, and no doubt there's probably section 75, subclause B, line 56. It'll say something in there about, we can change the access levels at any time, and you waive your rights to ownership of this product, or whatever it is. So there's a line in there somewhere that's covering Facebook's ass to make this kind of move, but it just sucks.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
Dodgy.
Yeah, but something that doesn't suck, Ghost of Tsushima getting some online multiplayer, and this was announced this week. So Sony has announced Ghost of Tsushima Legends, a new online co-op multiplayer mode free for Ghost of Tsushima owners, due out on PlayStation 4 in the United States autumn of 2020. So it's coming out later this year, which is awesome. And here's a little bit more of a blurb on it. Legends is an entirely new experience, Darren Bridges, senior game producer at Sucker Punch, wrote in a post on the PlayStation blog. It's a separate mode that doesn't follow Jin or the companions from his journey, but instead focuses on 4 warriors who have been built up as legends in stories told by the people of Tsushima. We designed Legends to be an exclusively cooperative gameplay experience. You'll be able to partner up with friends or via online matchmaking and play Legends in groups of 2 to 4 players. Each character can choose from one of 4 different character classes: the Samurai, Hunter, Ronin, or Assassin. Each class has unique advantages and abilities that will reveal in the future. With 2 players in Ghost of Tsushima Legends, you'll be able to play a series of co-op story missions that escalate in difficulty, building on the foundation of combat from the single-player campaign, but with new magical twists that often require careful synchronization with your partner. With 4 players, you'll be able to take on wave-based survival missions, fighting groups of the toughest enemies Tsushima has to offer, including new Oni enemies with supernatural abilities. Oh. If you can best the story and survival missions, you may be confident enough to take on the 4-player raid that will arrive shortly after the launch of Ghost of Tsushima Legends, sending you and your partners to an entirely new realm to challenge a brutal, terrifying enemy.
Whoa.
End quote. Yeah, so this was this was a sneaky announcement that just came out of nowhere this past week. I popped on I was scrolling Twitter before bed at 11:30 at night or something, and then this just announced, and I was like, oh, hello. This looks awesome. Cooperative Tsushima, free for Tsushima owners. Boy, howdy. And I think the thing that I thought of immediately outside of this is on the back of all these delays is we've got a potential, obviously it's going to be out on PlayStation 4, but it's also going to be a nice sort of strengthening for the PlayStation 5 release later this year as well, that we're going to get a new, you could say a new exclusive for all intents and purposes coming out around launch for the PlayStation 5. But what do you think? I know you haven't played Tsushima yet, but is this something that you'd give a crack at, especially when they're talking about raids and stuff?
Well, the raid is what piqued my interest. So I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm actually really putting it aside because I actually know how it ends. So I already know the story. Granted, a lot of people actually said that they never felt the story was too engaging anyway, but gameplay was kind of enjoyable, so maybe I will eventually play it. But I mean, the co-op with the different character classes as well, being able to choose and then working together and working in unison, and then obviously a raid being added as well, that actually has my interest. I feel like just sneaking on just to do that element, that actually sounds really, really cool to me. I love a good co-op, so
it looks great. Big fan of Tsushima. It's one of the best games released this year. Check out the Ghost of Tsushima spoiler cast, obviously on this Hungry Gamers RSS feed. If you haven't, it'll give you a good taste. First 50 minutes is spoiler free, but then the last hour is full of spoilers. So give that a spin if you want to get a little bit more feedback from myself, Benny, and Jono regarding our time with Ghost of Tsushima. But yeah, this looks cool. Co-op is one of my favorite things in video gaming, and being able to do a little mini raid, the wave-based stuff, I've kind of had my fill of horde mode, to be honest. It's cool, but it's there's only so many variations you can sort of spin on that formula. So, it'll still be fun, and working out how to combine the traits of those 4 character classes to get through those levels could be fun as well. But I think I like the 2-player option in this, where you can go through some co-op story missions. I think that'll be really cool. Yeah. You and someone else rolling through Tsushima and getting a bit more story.
Mm-hmm. I'm also curious about these new Oni characters with supernatural abilities. So it looks like they'll be leaning into that kind of element, and that's always cool. The design would be amazing. So I'm actually curious about that, because based on what I witnessed, I don't think there was much supernatural.
Not much. There's a couple of instances where you go into a few battles with some supernatural elements. There's one when you get one of the bow weapons, the legendary, the longbow, and you fight a character there where you'll get teleported into almost this spirit realmy thing when you're fighting this person.
Okay.
So there's a couple, but it's very few and far between. I think there's only 2 or 3 instances that I can think of in the game that really double down on the supernatural. There's one that has a supernatural storyline attached to it, but it's someone faking it and just freaking people out. But there is some genuine supernatural ties there, so I can't wait for that.
That'd be good. That'll be interesting to see. I'd love to see what they introduce, and exactly how crazy the supernatural ability will be. So yeah, it's a good update. And it's a free update for people that already own it as well. So I mean, hey, that's good. We all love free shit, and especially if it's let's hope it's good. Let's hope it's worth its worth. But yeah. It's
very un-Sony to be giving away free content like this. I'm curious if they're gonna, once this gets released and there's maybe a real positive spin on it and a lot of uptake, then they will maybe standalone it. Buy this for $20 or something. The standalone option, maybe. I feel that that's not too far down the track.
Did they say that the raid is going to be free?
Yeah, they said it's coming shortly after the launch, but I guess they did or didn't say that it's going to be paid for. But I'm assuming it's going to be included. But yeah, you do need PS Plus to access this too, so it's not entirely free. You need your online subscription service to get online and roll with your fellow samurai. But
that stuff's standard now, though. You just need it. For all your devices, your Xbox, your PlayStation, your Nintendo. Yep.
completely unrelated too, but talking subscription services, I signed up to Binge the other day, which is the new subscription service, streaming service from Foxtel.
Oh yeah.
So instead of paying the full exuberant amount for Foxtel and all their package, you can get Binge for like $9 a month.
Okay.
Signed up to that, and first and foremost, there's no app on my LG TV. There's no app on my Samsung TV. Trying to use a web browser through both of those TVs to stream, not supported on both of those as well. Use the LG TV app on my phone to try and broadcast it to, not supported. Tried to broadcast from my work laptop to my TV, not supported. So Binge, sort your fucking shit out, because I just want to watch your content on my television, but instead I had to watch it on my laptop.
I mean, like Foxtel had that service where there was like an app where you could like on demand or something like that.
Yeah,
like
Foxtel now. I had that and scaled back to this, but there's no app and there's no native support on my televisions, and it fucking kills me. I was getting so angry this week.
Do you have an Apple TV?
No.
Oh.
I probably need to get one, because that obviously is a good hub for everything. So maybe that's my next purchase.
Apple TV like has changed my life, so I recommend it.
Yeah, as it is, I've got on my televisions like the Amazon Prime app, the Netflix app, the Stan app, the SBS On Demand app, the Disney Plus app, the KO Sports app. I had the Foxtel app on there and all the other apps. But yeah, if I can get it all in that one Apple TV box, it's probably the smart way to go.
It's pretty handy, and it's good. It's pretty easy to use and very like user friendly. So I recommend it.
Okay, I'll have to have a look at that. But while I'm off having a look at that, maybe I'll sort of give a little bit of a spiel here, but then you can throw your input in this, because I completely missed the August 2020 Nintendo Indie World Direct that occurred recently. But I'll run through a little bit of blurb and then hand it over to you. So Nintendo certainly knows how to cultivate the indie market, with surprise announcement of a Nintendo Indie Direct happening this past week. Nintendo absolutely brought the goods when it came to reveals. There were a few surprises that nobody saw coming, the most exciting being a co-op expansion for Untitled Goose Game, which arrives on September 23rd. Developer House put it this way: play as two horrible geese honking twice as much, teaming up to plan pranks and genuinely ruin everyone's day together. As well as Untitled Goose Game, there are a lot of shadow drops for games on the Nintendo Switch. Maybe it's not updates on Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever is happening with Metroid Prime 4, but it's still pretty bloody good. If you're currently looking for stuff to play, a ton of games were shadow dropped during this rather brief 20-minute stream. Everything seemed to fly by until the ending, which is both exciting and exhausting in equal measure. So I'm going to chuck it over to you as far as this list. Give me some thoughts on some of them, because there's a good chunk of them games announced that are available right now. But fill me in, because I completely missed this outside of the Untitled Goose Game announcement.
You know, like I've got to give it to Nintendo, because this Indie World Direct, like I think they pace it really, really well. They give you the right amount of content for each for each game. Like you usually get like a little spiel from the developer, you get a trailer, maybe you'll get some gameplay, and then it's on to the next one. Not once did it feel kind of like exhausting, or like it had, it spent its time, like it was, onto the, like you kind of like, okay, I get it. Which we kind of experienced with like a lot of events recently, like with like PlayStation, Xbox. So I've got to give it to Nintendo. They really know how to do like a direct. So in regards to games that they announced, I'll go through the list. So there was Hades, Hypnospace Outlaw, Spiritfarer, I always think I say that one wrong, Garden Stories, Subnautica and Below Zero, Takeshi and Hiroshi, Raji, An Ancient Epic, Bear and Breakfast, A Short Hike, Card Shark, Torchlight 3, Manifold Garden, and Evergate. Now, there were games that were actually like dropped saying like you can play this today, which was Spiritfarer, Raji and the Ancient Epic, A Short Hike, Manifold Garden, and Evergate. So those ones, like essentially as soon as they showed you, they're like, you can play it today, which I think is pretty cool. Just saying, see this game? Yeah, it looks good. You can play it now.
That guerrilla marketing is such a great touch in today's society. I think it's the best way to get some immediate hype on stuff. And
I think it's pretty good initiative to have with some of these indies. Like, I mean, Spiritfarer, like we've heard about that one a few times. We've seen that one a lot. So like that one is less about like, like like Raji and the Ancient Epic, me personally, I never heard of that. And then like I was actually very interested in this title. It's done by a team in India, and the design in the game is really beautiful. Like it really took my interest, because usually these kind of run around, you know, kind of beat 'em ups, like tricky kind of like just combat-y, like indie kind of games usually don't get me because I find them a bit repetitive. But it was just the design. It was all the like the level design, and then all the like there was like also this like puppet sequence where it was telling you story in the old style of puppet with like shadow puppets and like I don't think it's marionette, but you know, it was an old style of like puppet telling with shadows. And it was just beautiful. And the fact that I heard about this game, I became interested in this game, and then I got told, you know what, you can play it right now. Like I couldn't have thought of a better way to kind of market a game, especially in an, you know, an indie climate. So just to being able to say, here it is, looks good, play it now. And that also goes with a short hike. A short hike, I've heard people talk about it. A lot of people have kind of like mentioned it in passing, saying you should play it. This one was actually on the Switch store, and it was already on sale for $8.
Oh,
so
damn.
yeah, and I've yet to play it, but I got to see a few streams of people playing it, and it's really adorable. You're just like a little like bird character, and you're walking around like a hiking trail in the mountain. And there's like a lot of characters that you interact with. There's like a few like kind of like, I guess, puzzly kind of like things where you're trying to get from higher locations and you're kind of flying down. So that was another, you know, another great title where it's just like, you like this game? You can play it now. So there were a lot of other titles in there where it's either coming at the end of the year or some were actually scheduled for next year. But in regards to what they had to offer, they were great titles. Like, I know I giggled when I said bear and breakfast, but I'm totally buying the game. You play as
is it what I think it is? Is it like a B&B with bears?
Yeah, it's a bear that runs a bed and breakfast. What's not to love? I'm
intrigued. Like, I was the one that played that Bird B&B pretty religiously on my phone there for a hot minute. So, of course, Bear and Breakfast is going to be on the short list.
Yeah, and like Hades has been around for a while. I think a lot of people could play it on PC, for as far as I'm aware. Hades looks like a great game. Based on what I've witnessed so far, it just looks like it's, you know, it plays well, but it's a very, very unique design. As well as in regards to story and interaction, it's very like sarcastic, self-aware. So Hades was one that like kind of shocked me that I'd be interested in. I'm going to say that with Spiritfarer, that game looks beautiful. It looks absolutely gorgeous. But
it really does.
I won't be able to play it because I know I will be crying all game long, because it's about like helping these and like animal creatures and helping them on their trip to the afterlife. And I just can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. I would not be able to play that. So I'm going to depend on, you know, YouTubers and Twitch streamers to play that one for me. Although I might
pick it up. I might pick it up on the Switch and give it a crack.
Yeah.
Because it looks interesting. I really liked when this was announced. It might have got debuted in the Kind of Funny indie showcase they did last year, I think.
Yeah, possibly.
And I remember us both talking about it, saying that it looks awesome and the concept's cool and the art style's really vibrant.
Yeah.
It's very like watercolory as far as the color palette they're using, like a lot of washed out brightness.
I know it's a stretch, but like I like attaching it to a kind of almost like a Ghibli feel, like very, very lightly. Like I could see where that influence could be there. So it just looks stunning. So
it really does. Yeah, so I'll give that a look. See how it goes.
And then Subnautica, this is the one that I'm a bit skeptical about. Like, we've all probably familiar with Subnautica by now. A lot of us playing it on PC. But seeing how it translates onto the Switch should be interesting, because I think that game is beautiful on PC. Like, it's just stunning. So, but we've had a lot of issues where we've seen these, you know, very graphically you know, well, on PC they'd be stunning games, but then the translation not being there, moving it onto the Switch. So I'd be very curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, hopefully we get a Witcher port and not a WWE 2K20 port for the Switch. That's my hope.
Yeah, but for anyone that hasn't checked out the event, it's a quick event. Just load it up, have a watch, see some of these new indie titles, and yeah, there's a good chance that you might find one interesting in there, and you can play already. So, something.
Are you going to jump back on Goose Game and play?
Hell yeah!
Co-op.
Co-op, yeah. Be a little shit with a partner. That's amazing.
God, one goose is bad enough, but imagine getting accosted by two geese in real life.
Adorable. Like when you see the trailer for it and then you see them both with their little colored bows, so you know who player 1 and player 2 is. Like, it's adorable. It reminds me of what was that? Like, there was that animated Beatrix Potter. Yeah, and the goose, like the little geese and ducks when they had the...
Was it Jemima Puddle Duck?
Yeah, and they would wear like a human clothing and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to causing a muck.
Honk, honk. And it's good to see House are still getting some press. Like, obviously this game was one that blew up as well across the globe, and this will further keep them in the spotlight. And yeah, kudos to the guys here out of Australia that have smacked out this enormous global game, like enormous hit. So yeah, shall we move into some stuff that's coming out this coming week?
Let's do it.
New releases and events.
All right, so this is going to encompass from the 24th of August right through to the 31st, and there is an absolute bucket load of games dropping this coming calendar week. So there's stuff for every person out there. There's another port on the Switch. Jump Force is making its way to the Nintendo Switch as well. You've got some stuff for the sports fans, like Madden NFL 21 drops on the 28th of August. Wasteland 3, Xbox/Microsoft exclusive, drops on the 28th as well. I wanted to emphasize the Control or DLC, or AWE DLC, drops on the 27th of August, which looks fantastic, and that ties in Alan Wake, making this multiverse, which is awesome. And then Tell Me Why, which is the exclusive for Microsoft that Don't Nod are behind. So the first episode of that drops on the 27th of August as well. Anything else on this list, or anything else that's coming out maybe on the small screen or the big screen that you're excited for and want to chat about?
Well, I know on the small screen, everyone's been talking about that Lovecraft show, so I know I have to get into that once.
I told you so.
Well, I mean, I don't know, I didn't doubt you, but I'm like, towards the end of season 1 of Doom Patrol, which is just amazing. I can't stop saying good things about Doom Patrol. I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I hadn't watched that one sooner, so, but yeah. Is it called like Lovecraft, or is it
Lovecraft Country? Yeah,
so I've heard really good things about that, so I'll obviously have to put that on the radar.
So good. The only tough part with that show is that it's getting released weekly, so you can't just binge it all in one hit. It's just you watch it on your Sunday, on my Monday, and then you got to wait a week. There we go. I'll finish season 2 of Doom Patrol, and then it should be all out by then.
There you go. For me. See, I'm a thinker.
There you go. All right, so that's what's coming out this week. Quick one now.
Tweet of the week.
And this tweet comes via @Ogilvy, and this was brought much hullabaloo, much anger throughout the streaming community. And in essence, the tweet by @Ogilvy, the tweet reads: title: The King of Stream, client Burger King, team, we are David Mad. And so Burger King turned Twitch's donation feature into a marketing campaign. So the sort of short version of this, for anyone that hasn't seen it on the social medias, is that Burger King have copped a lot of flack because they were using Twitch's donation feature to get cheap on-stream plugs. So obviously, when you donate to certain streamers, they have a voice to text-to-speech function where you can drop your donation and then it will give you the thank you, this is blah, 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 robotic text-to-speech playback through the stream. And they were doing that and hyping up, potential sales or deals for double whoppers and things like that. So it's shady. I get it. It's smart because there's nothing that I'm aware of that says you can't do that. But yeah, it's also come out now that a few other people have said that this has happened to them in their streams before. Mm-hmm. But what do you think about this? Where do you stand? Are you poo-pooing Burger King? Do you think this is bad? Do you think it's clever? Where you at?
I think it's dodgy because essentially, like, we see on Twitch a lot of like prominent Twitch streamers. They have, they work with managers or management groups, and they have contracts, and then those people usually work with all different kind of groups, whether it's like G Fuel or even McDonald's and like fast food chains. But like essentially it's about making an agreement of, yes, I will advertise your product for you, I will get said payment, fair's fair. This is really dodgy because it's essentially the cheapest way that they can advertise, but it's really rude. It's like if they just if you had a party and, Ronald McDonald or, the Burger King himself, like, busted through your door and said, you can buy burgers for this much. Like, that's, like, it's rude. Like, don't come into my space of working and then just, yell a hullabaloo.
That's a great way to compare it and describe it, actually. I think that's the perfect way to sort of say this is how it would be in real life.
Yeah, like, and it's just... like, it's no denying, like, that they were doing the dodgiest way of getting around, of trying to get, like, trying to get to the masses at the cheapest rate possible, which is, like, they were doing, like, $3, $5 donations to advertise meals and nuggets and all that sort of stuff. Rubber Ninja, he was talking about how it happened to him and how he... believes that they didn't use his because they had a little video showing the promotion. He said they obviously didn't use his because he actually talked about how he worked at Hungry Jack's, the Australian equivalent to Burger King, and how much he hated it and how bad it was. But he showed video of his stream, and yeah, they flooded him about 3 times. And he said, well, I've got a rule in my stream that you can't self-advertise. So he banned them. But
good on him.
Yeah, so, but like, in regards to like what you said, I technically don't know that like this is bad. Like I don't know if there's like a rule that prevents them from doing it this way. I guess if it's there, like,
yeah, I don't know if it's against terms of service. Like, I doubt it would be, because no doubt the Burger King legal eagles were probably looking into all that to make sure it's safe before they start accosting streamers with these minuscule donations to get their messages out. So I'm assuming they've dotted their I's and crossed their T's to make sure they're not going to get sued.
Yeah.
And putting in it, like, having your Twitch bio where it says no self-promotion or whatever, like, that's not legally binding, really.
You know what?
So
this actually reminds me, though, that in regards to advertising on another person's stream, there was this, I can't remember when exactly it was, if it was last year or maybe even the year before, but there was actually a lot of angry streamers who were upset because there's a lot of ads that play before you load into a stream. And there was a time where Twitch had initiated an ad where it was promoting Ninja. Like, it was promoting Ninja's streams. And a lot of people said that that was a dodgy move because it's like, you're promoting someone else on my channel. Like, like, it's either like saying like, why go watch this person when you can watch this person, or suggesting in the fact, like, by coming to my channel, I endorse this person kind of thing. So I don't know. I think Twitch is probably going to find themselves in some, like, maybe have to, no, they won't refine their rules about that sort of stuff.
They don't care.
They don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's just some like little grey line at the moment.
Yeah, like, it's ultimately it's dodgy and it's bad business, but if it's not illegal, like, if this is the loophole that a Burger King or a brand XYZ is going to jump around to save themselves a substantial amount of money, because obviously paid campaigns and paid promotions to content creators to advertise these things costs a lot more than a $3 or $5 donation. That's exactly. For damn sure. So yeah. It's dodgy in that regard. It's clever whoever came up with it, but it's bad. Like, I don't agree with it. I'll acknowledge and hat tip them for getting around paying hundreds or thousands of dollars to promote these things the normal way that most paid activations and campaigns are done via. But yeah, maybe simmer down on this stuff, Burger King. Like, it's not as if you're short on cash to pay a streamer to actively promote it. And have your product in view of, while they're streaming, or, having a break between game and eating a couple of nuggets or biting into a Rodeo cheeseburger and whatever you. So, yeah. I wonder if we're going to see more of this now, though, because it really brought it to light, didn't it? Like, it's something that, has probably been happening for a while, but didn't really get this type of global press and perspective until this most recent one.
I guess maybe if everyone kind of put it in their rules, kind of like what Rubber Ninja did and said, like, no self-advertising. And then if they keep on breaking people, like, streamers' rules, then that should put them on some kind of list, right?
Maybe, but
like we said, Twitch probably won't do anything.
No. They'll just give them their own dedicated Burger King account and then just put all the ads before every stream. Like that Ninja ad you're talking about, that'll be Burger King ads now.
I mean, like, the Wendys over here, not the same Wendys in Australia, but Wendys over here.
Makes me so sad. I love Wendys over there.
It's actually pretty good, but I do miss Wendys over there as well, like in Australia.
Yeah, because we confirmed that you were quite a fan of their hot dogs.
Okay, full disclosure, I was telling Jono and Brendan that I used to eat a Wendy's hot dog every day.
Every day.
Every damn day. With
and
a
you had a
vanilla
weird
Coke.
server lady that put like a mustard tip on the end of your dog.
She was a darling. She was really sweet, always nice. She kind of got to the stage where she knew I was coming.
She'd have it ready there for you when you rock up in the morning.
Like, at least, like, I didn't have to wait for, like, anything, really. But, yeah, she used to do this weird thing. Maybe other people have experienced it. I don't know if it's a thing. But, like, she used to put, like... Because with the buns were, like, pretty hollow. Like, they would hollow them out. Then they would stick the hot dog in the hollow section. This is sounding gross. Well, it's going to sound worse in a second. So, they'd stick the sauce in the bread. They'd put the hot dog in there. And then she, for some reason, decided to, like, put sauce on the tip of the sausage. Just like,
but it was mustard, wasn't it? It was just like a little mustard splash.
Like, yeah, she just kind of like do a little squeeze of mustard. It's actually really nice considering, because, she's letting your first bite still have sauce in it, or, mustard or whatever in it. So, it's not like you're going to just get straight dog. So, yeah, that's my story, guys. Enjoy. I hope you're listening to it first thing in the morning.
Wendy's is pretty, like, Australian Wendy's is pretty great, but it's just, I wish we had American Wendy's, and it makes me sad because New Zealand has American Wendy's.
Do they really?
Australia does not, yeah.
I mean, you guys have Carl's Jr.
But Carl's Jr. sucks. I'd prefer Hungry Jack's than Carl's Jr.
Yeah, it's not
over
great.
here, at least. Like, American one's better, but over here it tastes like a shit of Hungry Jack's.
I only go to Carl's Jr. here if we're, like, hungover or drunk.
They do good shakes, and the fact they do waffle fries, though, I can appreciate some waffle fries.
Yeah, waffle fries is good.
But yeah, Baconators from Wendy's so good.
Son of Baconator.
Son of Baconator. All right, Chuck Fresh, let's bring us home, big fella.
You've got mail. Mail.
We're not fixing that, are we?
I will eventually. Maybe, I don't know.
People are used to it. Keep it.
And diving into the mailbag this week with this question. With @TimTheTapman finally getting that Fall Guys crown, we wanted to know, what is your golden crown moment in gaming? And we decided the best answer to this question will win a set of Audio-Technica headphones. So I'll go through some of the Discord responses first. And Limo Tank says, finishing the water temple in Ocarina of Time. Oh. Everything has been downhill since then.
Water temple, shit.
I've never played Ocarina of Time, so I've got no skin in this game. None.
Are you serious?
Yeah. As I said, I'm not a big Zelda guy. Never played it.
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a big Zelda person either, but I played Ocarina of Time.
I probably should hand in my gamer card. That and Diablo I get castrated for.
Especially with me. Wow. We've all learned something today, everyone.
Yeah, sorry gamers. But so the water temple, I did some looking at it and it looked like it was a pretty fucking tough battle.
It's a headache.
Yeah. All right, Calgar. Obviously, Andrew Natoli from the Inconsolables. He says the Bloodborne Platinum, but he also said a little bit after that he wanted to change his response to clearing all of the Dark Souls games and DLC using only Castus weapons because Castus is bestus. And that was like 6 months worth of streams. Yeah, so power to him. He's all about the Dark Souls and Bloodborne games and all these Soulsborne offshoots. Like, he's a patient man, I'll give him that. Like, I cry and get angry and just never want to play them again trying these types of styles. So power to Calgar. Noble XTC, Nobu from the Game Sushi podcast, says Final Fantasy VI. I was at the last boss and my party was down except for one person. I'm an atheist myself, but the boss was tough as fuck. It was down to he hits me first, I hit him first. So I pressed attack and started praying of all things. Lol. Surprisingly, I got the first hit in and I killed the boss. Cheers all round early in the morning. We watched the ending and the credits. Then I reverted back to my atheism. Lol.
See, Final Fantasy is always a punishment. But I don't remember it being like I always thought it was like you kind of knew what was like who had the next attack.
I don't know. It's just going to be pile on me for my gamer card. Like, I've only played 7.
All these games you haven't played.
I've played 7. I've played 15. Like, that's it for Final Fantasy. All right, at Tillhouse _ on the Discord, getting 4th on the world leaderboard for a speed run of a level on Duck Game.
Yes,
I think I'm now ranked 20th or something.
Duck Game. Great game. If no one out there has played Duck Game, play Duck Game. It's so good.
You brought me to Duck Game way back when I came over and visited you in the Americanos. Like, you introduced me to Duck Game many years ago now, and I thank you for that.
Yeah, it's a great game. It's a great game to play with friends, online, co-op, whatever. But it's so simple in concept, but like I have played it for hours and hours on end. So. Nice work, Tillhouse.
Hell yeah. GC Fabio, obviously at Benny McJanet, the Spawny 13. The flawless raid run in Destiny 1. Getting that trophy was a bastard and took the best of my guild to get it. Also beating Taken King raid on hard mode was such an adrenaline rush when we beat it. Clearing a Destiny raid is still my favorite team moment in gaming.
I feel like he's rubbing that into me.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
I haven't really completed a raid, so... but I mean, it's strange that like if he like those are some enjoyable moments for him. There's a few like flawless runs that people are trying to do now. So, you know, if he ever wants to get, I mean, I can't help him because, like I said, never completed a raid. Although Benny did try to help me once complete a raid. But I think this was like. I think it was like at the start of when the raid got dropped, so people were still figuring out how to get it done properly, and I was
playing with you guys that night.
Were you?
We got to the garden part. I think we got stuck on the garden with them bloody dogs skulking around and all that part. But I haven't finished all the Destiny 2 raids. I've done the ones from Destiny 1 with Benny and his crew, but haven't done 2. But looking forward to getting back into 2. Said I'm going to line it up with the next major release. So
it's smart.
Yeah, can't wait. All right, moving across to the Twitters. Matt Tilby, obviously at It's Tilby on the Twitters. He says, in 2012, I beat former Brisbane Roar, now Western Sydney and Socceroos player Matt German at FIFA to win a copy of FIFA Street for the Xbox 360. Had it signed by the Raw team too. And if you want to check this out, he posted a photo in response to this to the @WeAre8bit account, and look at little baby Matt Tilby. He looks like he's 7 years old. Look at him.
Oh, I love that he actually had the picture too. It's one thing to kick someone's ass, but actually have photo evidence of it is just awesome.
Yeah, no, respect. And I miss those sort of street sport offshoots, FIFA Street, NBA Street, NFL Street. I think they're the best kind of sports games.
Yeah.
At Jamie Penning. In 2006, I won a trip to Melbourne in a comp for Australia's Ultimate Bounty Hunter, where I played Metroid Prime Hunters with 11 others to try and win $1,000. We played in a private cinema, and while I made it to the final, I finished 4th overall and won a DS Lite.
That sounds badass. They played in a cinema, like with a big screen.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. On that front, I don't know if it happens over in the Americanos, but Event Cinema at the moment, just because I guess there's limited releases with movies, you can actually rent out a cinema for 2 hours and bring a gaming console and play your own games and your own console on the cinema screen. So you can book out the space. I think it's like $200 for 2 hours, but you can take your console in and play whatever you want on the cinema screen with your friends, which is fucking cool. I want to do it.
I've witnessed people like do that. Like I've seen it on social media where someone's posted that. So I'm guessing it's a service that's offered. I guess it's just not really publicized. Like it's not really advertised or whatever. So
yeah. All right, the Big G AUS on the Twitters, he says, when I was on stage at PAX raising money for generosity and doing it with my best mate. And then he does the fist bump emoji there. Big G does a lot of stuff, a lot of positive stuff for charity there. And his best mate in question is at Nacho Pants on the Twitters, for anyone that is wondering. And generosity, still doing good things there. I think they've got some more stuff planned for the big PAX Online extravaganza that's coming up very soon as well. So keep your eyes peeled there. Skeelsy at Skeelsy Shooter says, I beat my dad on NBA Live 95 using a team of Shaqs and only shooting 3-pointers, which is insane. So good though. I'd love to watch that. Like just an army of Shaqs trying to drop them from three. I beat my
dad, like the ultimate nemesis of like, because my dad used to play games as well. So like, you know, beating your father at a game is always just like, I've reached an honorable level. Yep.
And then the last one on the Twitters, at Josie Comes Home, says, don't laugh, but when I beat the boss on Super Mario Sunshine, my kid was at school and I had promised to wait to play until he came home. Oh, the shame of doing it when he was not there. I'll never live it down.
That was great. I love it.
What about yourself? What's your crowning achievements in games?
I mean, the one that I think of is and the game Another World. I played it on the Sega way back when, I think when it probably got released, really, you know, and it was, to me, it was a scary game. It was also complex to me back then as well. So I never actually really got too far into it, but I loved the game. Like, I thought it was really cool looking. I loved the style. Like, I wanted to know the story, but I just was shit. So it was good to see when it came back. It actually appeared on the Xbox store, I think. And so purchased it, and I was determined that I was going to finish it, and I finally finished it. I finally got to witness the story. I finally got to finish the game. I got to see all the other different things that you got to experience later on, and I was just so happy that I finally finished this game from like my childhood. So that was probably my crowning moment.
Bit of childhood closure there. Yeah. Would have felt good.
Yeah, the childhood closure. That's one. Now on to the other 100 things. What about you?
This was a tough one because, like, I've played a lot of games, finished a lot of games, but I sort of thought, what have I done or experienced in games that is, I guess, different to a lot of them others? And wanted to mention first Horizon Zero Dawn, because it's the only game I've ever platinumed or ever actively seeked out to platinum.
Oh.
So I got the platinum for Horizon Zero Dawn. I know it's not one of the like hardest platinums out there from, you know, within the PlayStation ecosystem, but yeah, got the plat with Horizon. That's my only platinum on the sort of Sony range of titles. So that's a nice little crowning achievement for me. And then I just think way back to playing Super Mario Brothers 3 with my uncle on the old SNES way back when, and going through and finishing that game front to back without using any whistles and you know, skipping levels, skipping worlds. And I think that's still one of my proudest moments, because I was how old would I have been? You know, seven or 8, I guess, at the time, and going through and finishing Super Mario Bros. 3 as Luigi. My uncle had to be Mario because he was older and he was, you know, the leader of the two of us. But
Luigi's better anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Luigi, he doesn't get enough respect. So, Uncle Aaron, stick it up your ass. But I also win. But thank you for helping me get there and finishing Super Mario Bros. 3 back when I was a little one. They're the two probably biggest ones that come to mind. Like, I think of getting the chicken dinners in PUBG or the champion announcements in Apex and stuff, and they're awesome as well. But when you start getting a couple of them, they're still special, but it sort of loses some of that significance. So they're the ones that I think of from that immediately come to mind.
Yeah, I guess this is going to sound really sad. I never really play a game to excel at it. I just play a game to enjoy it. So I guess I never have any moments where I'm like, fuck yeah. Although actually when I got my Fall Guys win finally, that was a relief. Freaking escorting everyone else to the crown but myself. So that was a good moment. But
and now you got Fall Guys crowns just falling out your backside, it seems.
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden I'm just winning games, and I'm winning like not just the uphill one as well. Like I'm winning like other ones now. So I'm like, either everyone got shit or like it just, no, I'm assuming everyone got shit.
It's pretty crazy. Like going full circle back to the origin of this question with Tim the Tap Man, and just the global hysteria on will he, won't he? And then he finally got the crown. And the social campaign that obviously Fall Guys did was impeccable. And they're over 1 million followers now. Like, my God. Like, hat tip to everyone involved there. But seeing him get that win, it's just weird with some games. Like, I was getting... Like, I played a bit of Fall Guys throughout this week, a few games here and there. And I think I got maybe 5 crowns in those couple of nights where I played. Like, it seems to be a game that you can get on a bit of a run. Yeah, and get a couple of wins, or at least get close to getting a few wins. Like, I've watched a few other people play, and the struggle is real with some of them trying to get past just like the first mini game. And I sit there and go, "Oh, poor child. I'm so sorry."
Like, I know I can be pretty incapable when it comes to first-person shooters, but I just, to me personally, Fall Guys is the simplest of the simple. Like. I know a lot of people love to point out to me, some really sour people love to point out, oh, it's like a kid's game. Oh, I'm like, well, whatever. It's a fun game. It's a game for all. But like, that's the thing. It's like, it should be pretty accessible. Like, there's not much to it. Like, there is some, like, I'm going to be honest, there is just some pure luck to it. Sometimes you just get given the short straw at the start and it's unfortunate. But like, for the most part, to me, it's just like you get it eventually. Like, no one's perfect the first round, but you get it. Like, once you know a stage, once you've done it maybe once or twice, you get it, like. So I saw someone tweet about Tim's thing and said, well, if I was getting a lot of exposure for sucking, I would keep sucking too. So
yeah, it's smart, I guess, isn't it? Like, it made for a good conversation piece at the video game water cooler. But yeah, he's got that crown now, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, so this has been episode 207 of the Hungry Gamers podcast. I just wanted to quickly have one quick shout out before we close this sucker down. Anyone that hasn't seen an announcement the last couple of days for a game by a development studio called Game Science, and the game is called Black Myth Wukong. It was pretty much unknown until this week, and it has just blown up. 10 million views on Chinese video site Bilibili alone, as well as a bucket load of views on YouTube and all the other sort of offshoots that have been sharing it as well. This game looks fantastic, and there's 13 minutes of gameplay doing the rounds from this small studio out of China. They're apparently going to go into isolation and mode now and continue development. But there is a lot of chatter about this game that has just come out of nowhere. So give that a look, anyone that hasn't. 13 minutes of gameplay for Black Myth Wukong. Looks awesome, as we sort of alluded to at the very start. It's a martial arts game, but in that sort of Souls genre, it looks like. Yeah. So, martial arts Souls. Black Myth Wukong, give it a look by Game Science. Yeah, if Sony or Microsoft were smart, they would buy this studio very quickly and chuck it as an exclusive under their banner. But we'll see. It's cool to see, though.
Probably Xbox, they need it.
Yeah, anything else you want to say before we get on out of here?
Hell no, let's go.
All right, so this has been the end of this has been episode 207 of the Hungry Games podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe us. Till next week, AP Nation, much love.
And stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.
Do you think the lady from Wendys is still working there?
I hope not. She was pretty old.
I love hot dogs.